Hello, this is the TradeSite Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 26th of February, 2017, ending Friday the 3rd. Hope you're having a good trading week. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. So far, look at how precisely we've used the red and green static trend lines that have been created by the energy of the market over the last couple months. Red line perfectly as support, green line twice perfectly in the last 2 weeks as resistance. Can't break out of this range. Nothing else to say. Let's go through the daily charts and we'll look at the intra-week action. We'll talk about what's coming this week in terms of economic data and see if there's a plan that we need to be ready for. Euro dollar, just kind of the inverse of the dollar index as usual. There's really nothing here to differentiate it. Pound dollar, look how flat this has been. My goodness now. For a month, just dead sideways. Horrible, horrible ranges in the pound again. Aussie dollar, almost got a 13 sell signal. One more day up will give you a 13 sell signal on the Aussie dollar index. Pound yen, also flat, not a big deal. Euro yen, notice the 13 sell signal there back about 4 weeks ago. Been right on track since then. Pound Swiss, also flat like all the pound-based stuff. New Zealand dollar, not much there. All right, let's take a look at the intra-week action. Here's 30-minute candles. So remember, we only had really a 4-day week. So that first, you see Monday there, obviously Forex is open, but the U.S. was on bank holiday. So the euro basically traded in a 30-pip range. Other than that, high to low of the week, excuse me, is what is that, about 130 pips, 140 pips, and most of it was on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's it. Not much action. Usually, remember the euro usually trades 130 pips per day on average. Here's the pound dollar, 160 pips high to low for the week. Again, this one usually trades about 130 per day. So Thursday did that. There's a little more up and back here on the pound. We had some winners, but not much action, very narrowly contained. So there's not much new to say. The charts, except for the Aussie, about to show us the 13 sell signal. Not much else there. Let's go through the data for the week. Sunday, visitor arrivals out of New Zealand. Company operating profits out of Australia. Monday, Spanish flash CPI. The M3 money supply out of Europe and private loans. Italian 10-year bond auction. Durable orders here in the U.S. along with pending home sales. Got in the evening trade balance out of New Zealand. We've got preliminary industrial production out of Japan and retail sales. Australia's new home sales, business confidence out of New Zealand, consumer confidence out of the UK, current account out of Australia. Japan, housing starts, nationwide HPI. This is Tuesday. French consumer spending, French preliminary CPI and GDP. Italian preliminary CPI. Canada, Tuesday morning here in the US, RMPI and IPPI. First, let's see, the preliminary GDP for the fourth quarter. So this is still an Obama number. No, sorry, this is the second look at GDP for the fourth quarter because this is February. Still an Obama number. The goods trade balance, that's a big one. We're usually half size ahead of that, and not necessarily the second GDP, but the trade balance number. So we'll be half size Monday going into Tuesday. Wholesale inventories, Chicago PMI, housing price index, consumer confidence, rich manufacturing index. A lot of data here in the U.S. Tuesday morning. Overseas trade index out of New Zealand, AIG manufacturing index out of Australia. Capital spending out of Japan, BRC shop price index out of the UK, GDP out of Australia, manufacturing PMI out of China and Japan. Going into Wednesday, Australia, commodity prices, UBS consumption indicator out of Switzerland, German preliminary CPI, Spanish, this is it, Spanish, Italian, French, German, and the broad European and Swiss and UK manufacturing PMI data. They've split them all up by 5, 10, 15 minutes piece. Net lending to individuals out of the UK along with their money supply, German 10-year bond auction, current account out of Canada, core PCE price index, personal income and spending here in the US, manufacturing PMI in the US. We got rate announcement out of the Bank of Canada at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. They were one of the few that didn't announce a couple weeks ago when everybody else did. ISM manufacturing PMI, construction spending, this is US data. Crude oil inventories, that's the weekly number, total vehicle sales. Beige book at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Monetary base out of Japan. Building approvals and trade balance out of Australia. 10-year bond auction out of Japan. GDP out of Switzerland. German import prices out of Europe. Spanish unemployment change out of Europe. Retail sales out of Switzerland. Italian monthly unemployment rate. Construction PMI out of the UK. CPI flash estimate out of the UK. PPI out of the UK. Unemployment rate. This is not out of the UK. This is out of broad Europe. The French 10-year bond auction, Spanish 10-year bond auction, challenger job cuts here in the U.S., GDP out of Canada, unemployment claims in the U.S., the weekly natty gas number, that's the weekly unemployment claims number 2. Thursday night, Japan goes nuts with their CPI, unemployment rate, and housing spending numbers all at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Caxton Services PMI number out of China. And then Friday, Japan's consumer confidence, German retail sales, Spanish, French, Italian, and broad European services PMI, along with the UK number, retail sales out of Europe. And then we close the week with a speech out of Fed Chair Yellen, plus final services PMI. That's it. None of our big three, no Fed announcement here, no first look at GDP. So it's just a straightforward trading week for us. We won't be half size any night. Oh, sorry, we did have the trade balance number, didn't we? Yeah, so trade balance one night. Other than that, full size. But obviously things have been a little light. We're just eking out, trading some winners and losers, waiting for some action in the market. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We'll help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.